Time now to know what's on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers. So I have joining me to review the newspapers in Nigeria. The first person I'll be introducing to is a public affairs analyst and fellow icon, Olusegun Okunade. Thank you so much for coming on TVC Breakfast.
My pleasure to be here, and thank God it's Friday.
And then CEO, CKN News, Chris Kende Wandu. It's good to see you.
Nice to be here. Sheson got his full name.
All right, quickly, let's get to know what the newspapers are reporting this morning. Blueprint is the first amidst service chiefs' assurances. The headline reads, Gunmen kill 2 police inspectors, abduct Abia Varsity students. Wow. We also have a business day, rich nations stockpiling critical minerals Nigeria has ignored. And then the Daily Times, 4 policemen slain as security chiefs, others meet Senate, pledge to end growing anarchy. That's from the Daily Times. You'll find that, the screaming headline on Daily Times. Daily Trust is next. The kicker reads, IPOB, the headline, 4 cops killed, police stations burned in Anambra, Ebonyi. Wow, it's really disheartening. And the next paper is the National Economy. Nigeria relaunches National Carrier Project 3 years after. Nigeria relaunches National Carrier Project 3 years after. We are going to talk about that in the course of the discussion. And the first news reports panic grips Abuja residents over suspected bandits' arrival at border town. Panic grips Abuja residents over suspected bandits' arrival at border town. That's on the front page of the first news. The leadership is next. Last moments of Dari Adeboye as shock, disbelief trail his death. Last moments of Dari Adeboye as shock, disbelief trail his death. May so rest in peace. The next paper is New Telegraph with a screaming headline, Students' abduction is the kicker and bandits targeting government. That's according to Sheikh Gumi. It says that we're working to secure the release of Greenfield Varsity students. News Direct is next. Presidency probes NPA, suspends Hadiza Bala Usman as MD. The rider reads, appoints Koko acting MD. And the Nation newspaper is next. Insecurity, challenges by service chiefs, others. Challenges by service chiefs, others. The Guardian newspaper is next. Rumors of bandits attacks unsettle Abuja. Rumors of bandits attacks unsettle Abuja. The Sun newspaper is next. Banditry, heavy security deployments in Abuja. The rider operatives drafted to schools, border towns. Punch newspaper is next with a screaming headline. Boko Haram invasion plots. Anxiety in FCT. Heavy security at the NNPC, Army Barracks, others. The Tribune is the last but not the least here. Reps probe 43 billion naira Safe School Initiative. Reps probe 43 billion naira Safe School Initiative. So let's quickly delve into some of the newspapers, the headlines that are screaming at us this morning. Looks like the newspaper, let me start with you, Olusegun Okunade. Let me just give you the full complement of your name. Olusegun Okunade, thank you so much for coming again on TVC Breakfast. So looks like the newspapers are really, really bleeding, and today is not the first day we're seeing this. Everyone is talking about insecurity. Look at this. Blueprint, amid service chiefs' assurances, gunmen kill 2 police inspectors, abduct Abia Varsity students. What would you say to this? What's your reading of this?
Yeah, before we came in, I was like, would there be any time we'll wake up and have another news, either to analyze or read, not talking about this level of insecurity? But there is no how we can do that, because the right of the government is to provide security. And as we speak, the level of insecurity is even cutting those that are in authority to be very fearful and are very panicked of how to go about things. And where there is no security, I keep saying it, there can be growth, there can be any development, there can be prosperity. People will be impoverished always. And that's why it's very key, very strategic, that the government must just do something. We've had about promises from the government that we are working. But can we address it? Like the last speaker said before we came in, we must provide solutions. What are some of these solutions? We have asked that the issue of community policing should be encouraged, because you discover that where some of these things are perpetrated are actually in communities where people know one or two other person.
Right.
So in situation where you enhance community policing, you'll be able to secure individuals there. So when you see strangers coming in to perpetrate any evil, definitely you'll be able to nip it at the border and say, can we go after this? You discover that some of these are being done, let's say in some of the states like Lagos, where so many estates has resulted in providing their security.
Right.
And they feel a bit comfortable, not 100%, but at least you can go to bed to sleep with one eye rather than making the two eyes just open. Right. So we just discovered that government should go the route of community policing by taking security to the grassroots. See what is going on? Police stations are being burnt, policemen are being attacked, which gives us that these are the people that are saddled with the responsibility to protect us, and they are not there again. They are now the people that the bandit and the miscreant are after to take things out of their hands.
Well, let me bring in Chris Kendemwando, CEO CKN News. Well, you're also in the news production industry. What comes to your mind each time you are about to put to bed well, you're not putting to bed, virtually everything is on the internet now. But when you're going to press, what comes to your mind when you have to report too much of insecurity in the country? And it looks like there is no, just like he raised concern, looks like there is no other thing happening in Nigeria again.
Let me just take up from where he stopped when he talked about issue of business and collapsing and nothing else seems to be going on and the rest of them. But I would say there is business going on. But what we're having is just the unconventional business. The business we're having now is the business of kidnapping, banditry, and all sorts of level of insecurity. And also because some people are making a big deal out of it. And people are making millions of naira and the rest of them. Negotiation is going on a daily basis, if you understand what I mean.
Right.
So that in itself make a business for some people. But for us, in the media, is a divide between patriotism, nationalism, and reporting what is real. We are caught between giving a definite interpretation to what is going on, reporting it as it were, and also looking at it from the point of being a Nigerian. And most often than not, you are caught between governments, security agencies, and even your readers.
Right.
Because the government wouldn't want a holistic report of what is going on. Probably to scale it down. The military are not too happy when we report some of these attacks, especially, you remember a few days ago, the military came out to say that some of the gruesome pictures of soldiers that were killed in the battlefront shouldn't be splashed either on the social media or wherever. So those are the situations where we find ourselves as media men. But we have to do what we need to do because we are the fourth estate of the realm, and ordinarily it is our duty, irrespective of whatever is happening, to give information out to the people so that people can be well enlightened, both the military, both the government, and even the people that we serve.
Doesn't these, okay, let me quickly button. Doesn't these affect the mental health of, an average journalist? Because I have lots and lots of colleagues who would say, I'm so overwhelmed with all of this kind of reportage that we have on the faces of our newspapers, what we see on TV. Can't we just have a lease, of life?
Yes, we personally, sometime a few weeks ago, I almost decided to just go blank for 1 week to get my sanity back. Sincerely, it was getting that bad. But we can't do that because in course of doing that, then we're not giving the basic information that people need to know, because information is food. with which people eat. But don't also forget that most of these people that bear affected are Nigerians. Look at the situation where hundreds of university students or students are being kidnapped on a daily basis. Parents are traumatized and the rest of them. They cannot be able to see their children. And you put yourself in that position that if it was a child that was picked, are you going to keep quiet? But our situation as it were is that we have lost governance. We have lost leadership. Those that we've elected to be able to take us to the promised land seems not to be doing that. They even seem to be handicapped. They don't even know what to do. And that in itself is a problem, because just as I said, the basic responsibility of every government is the protection of life and property. That is the number one priority of every government. And when that government fails in its duty to be able to do that, then we're on a free fall. And what it looks like is that it's like we're on an autopilot. And seems not to be. We shouted that the service chiefs should be changed, which were changed. We shouted that the Inspector General of Police should be changed, which he was changed. But we seem not to be getting the right result again. Just yesterday, they were at the National Assembly where they were answered to certain questions and the rest of them. What we need is that, how do we nip in the bud? Boko Haram is just, as we were told by the Niger State Governor, it's just 2 hours away from the FC, and that is why, if you look at all the headlines, what the headlines will say is that, Abuja may be attacked, there's security tightening up around Abuja. If you tighten the security around Abuja, the federal, what happened to the 36 other states? Okay,
we're still going to talk more about that. We've got to really take a break now. Do stay with us on TVC Breakfast. We'll continue with this conversation after this break. Before we went on that break, we were talking about, we're reviewing the newspapers. Dailies. We're reviewing the dailies on the program, and I still have with me in the studio the public affairs analyst and fellow ICANN Olusegun Okwade and CEO CKN News Grace Kende Wando. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
So we were concerned about the insecurity in the country, and this first another newspaper reads, First News precisely, panic grieves Abuja residents over suspected bandits' arrival at border town. And again, New Telegraph reports something of a similar nature. Student abductions, bandits targeting government, Sheikh Gumi. So is that to say that, I'm coming to you, Olusegun, is that to say that the bandits, the kidnappers, the terrorists, they are becoming emboldened, day in, day out, especially with the kind of attacks that we're recording, on schools, communities, and places like that?
Frankly, they are getting emboldened. And I think, like CKN said while he was talking, it's not the business of the day. While other businesses are going down, the business of banditry is really going day by day. If we go by what the government keeps telling us, that most of the time that they get these bandits or some of the people that are being kidnapped, the ransoms are not being paid. I'll ask myself the question, why do you venture into a business that is not profitable to you? And if truth be told that is what is happening, by now this should have gone down the drain. But you discover that the business in fact, they are opening branches everywhere now. We started with the Northeast. That was the headquarters of the problem. To the Northwest. Now it's in the South-South, in the Southeast, in the Southwest. Every state, the whole 36 states are having their fair share of it. So where are we now saying that this is not happening? It's not the business, and government should please come out and tell us how it is. You cannot tell us that these people are not being paid ransom. How do you think that these people will go into this risk of kidnapping people? And on the long run, just say, give us the children that you have taken, and just go like that. There is more behind it, but that will keep safe. But with the level at which this keeps growing day by day and always, it shows to us that there is something the government is not telling us. If they are telling us now that they are putting us fortifying the security in Abuja, is Abuja the only state that we have? Is it because it's the state of the capital?
Right.
No, where we have the commercial nerve center like Lagos, like Abia, and other states that gives us money. Are we not supposed to secure them? Abuja is just a city of governance where administrative work has been done. But we should even concentrate more on the commercial nerve centers that gives us money, where people cannot even do business.
Right. Let's have some escapism now, at least away from insecurity. Let's talk about what the news directors reported this morning. I'll be directing that to you, Chris Kende Wando. Presidency probes NPA, suspends Hadiza Bala Usman as MD, appoints Koko acting MD. What do you make of this headline?
When the news broke last night, it really hit me hard because MPA is one of our cash cows. Okay, if you remove the oil revenue, remove FRS, remove the custom, definitely probably also communication industry, then I think MPA should be the top 10. And that news coming out from MPA is a very huge one. More so with the person of Hadiza Bala Usman, who over the years has been seen and somebody that's been very transparent. You know her antecedents, right from the Bring Back Our Guest days to when she became the chief of staff to the governor, El Rufai. Some discrepancies were noticed within the books, and the minister, Rotimi Amechi, felt that there is need for a probe. It was because of that she was asked to step aside where an acting MD has been. So it's still within the realms of probe, and you are still assumed innocent until you are proved guilty. So it is based on the outcome of that investigation that we now know whether she's actually guilty or not. But it's not a good one for us at this point in time.
Well, we look forward to seeing how that pans out. The Tribune reports that Reps probe for the 3 billion naira Safe School initiative. What do you make of that?
That is a very, very huge one, because the idea behind that is that where the money was budgeted so that most schools, especially in the Northeast and Northwest, will be safe. But it has been realized that allegedly that some of these funds were siphoned, and the project that we are earmarked for were not executed. Part of the problem we are also having in the North now is part of this problem. Greenfield University, though private university, you can see the level of kidnapping going. School of Forestry, you see the kidnapping, and there have been a large share. Don't forget that over 300 were also kidnapped in Zamfara at one point, and the rest of them. So the basic idea behind that was that let us make our school as safe as possible. But it's just unfortunate that some heartless individuals, allegedly, I continue using that word as a student of law. You continue to allege until it's proven. So the House of Reps is going ahead to probe this, and if we find some people culpable in this, I think it's high time we start wielding the big stick. We are talking of anti-corruption. One of the cardinal points of this administration is the issue fight against corruption. And when this continue to come up every now and then, it makes a mess of what we've been talking about. So I think we should see this to the end. It shouldn't be just one of those probes that they just probe and make the recommendation and everybody go to sleep. So many, you know, there have been so many before this, and to date we don't have anything coming out of it.
Okay, let's end on this note. I'll be asking you about talking to you about this. The Leadership newspaper reporting, the last moments of Dare Adeboye as shock, disbelief, trail his death. When you received this story, this news, did you, how broken were you?
Yeah, let me first commiserate with our father in the Lord, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, on the demise of the son. It came with heavy shock. At 42, that's just, life is just starting. And considering the fact that in our culture, or let's say in our tradition, it's not really too good for parents seeing the death of their children. It came with huge shock, and I want to pray that the Lord will console the family of our father in the Lord, and that this will not repeat itself. But it takes us to what we are faced with in the country. There are several ailments that individuals are faced with, depressions here and there. I'm not attributing that to this, but fine. Dare is young at 40. They always say life starts at 40. But you discover that the current situation we are faced with now, life is being caught even at early stage, 40, 45. Young people that are promising that you can even hope should take place of leadership are going at early stage. So it takes us back to what we are saying, that government must try as much as possible to do what is needful to give people some respite and rest of mind, so that at least for once we can enjoy ourselves. But I've always encouraged every individual, the way I do say things, that happiness is free and is created by no other person than you. If you allow the issues that we read and go through on the dailies, listen to on the TV, on the radio, to overwhelm you, once you are gone, life continues. So we should try as much as possible, take care of our health, and try as much as possible to create happiness, even out of the tight situation we found ourselves in the country.
Right, thank you very kindly. That's on that note, we call it a wrap for this segment, the newspaper review. Public affairs analyst and fellow icon, Olusegun Okwade. You're going to have to pay me for, giving you the full compliments of the name.
Don't worry, Chief, we settle that.
and also, Chris Kende Wandu is the CEO of CKN News. Thank you so much.
Yes, I commiserate with the family of Pastor Adeboye too on the loss. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.